As business managers, we have an obligation to ourselves, our colleagues, our organization, and most importantly, our guests. The obligation? Ensuring our guests enjoy a positive ownership experience. How do we meet our obligation? One way is by sharing perspective with our guests that they may not yet possess. Doing so will help our guests formulate more well-informed decisions as to what's at stake with keeping a modern vehicle operating properly. When our efforts are successful, we assure our guests are likely to receive terrific news in the service drive accompanying the terrible news. In other words, they are likely to hear that someone else is paying for all or nearly all of the costs required when their vehicle needs attention. When this occurs, our guests will be far happier. How do we discover information of service to our goal of well-informed guests? First, we need direction. A little deductive reasoning goes a long way. Perhaps we may find guidance asking ourselves, what sort of challenges are my guests likely to be facing currently? What might I share with my guests today related to those challenges? What information may I provide that will raise my relatability quotient? In other words, let's consider putting the information into a context that our guests are currently experiencing themselves. Perhaps we may consider what is likely to be bringing enhanced financial burden to our guests as of late. Take insurance rates, for example. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, since January of 2020, the cost of car insurance has risen 56%. Not only are many folks experiencing double-digit increases to their rates, but this is also being combined with potentially increasing deductibles and/or decreasing coverage provisions. Why are these rate increases happening? As we drive around, are we seeing a substantial number of accidents on the side of the road? This doesn't seem to be the case. Then what is it? Increased claim severity and rising vehicle repair costs are amongst the biggest reasons. High-tech parts content in modern automobiles and their related parts prices are having a huge impact on insurance rates. From U.S. News and World Report, why are car insurance rates going up? Allison Tobin, June 4th, 2025. According to the 2024 Automobile Insurance Trends Report, since 2020, the severity of material damages has risen by 47%, and total loss claims have increased by 29%. It is not hard to relate to the increased claim severity issue. Parts prices have skyrocketed. Imagine the surprise with which many folks receive the news regarding the replacement cost of their side view mirror. With its accompanying blind spot monitoring system, once the mirror is replaced and recalibrated, the news is usually shocking. Time to make an insurance claim just because they caught that mirror on the garage door frame while backing out of the garage. Or how about the price to replace a taillight on that same vehicle which is damaged while backing into something? That taillight assembly houses the radar transmitter beaming the invisible radio waves which make the blind spot tech work. Between the side view mirror and the taillight assembly, we are talking about just two components which may cost thousands of dollars to replace and recalibrate in a modern vehicle with many thousands of pieces. This is not to imply that our products replace the provisions of comprehensive and collision coverage and their related claims. They do not. These examples are provided to bring context to the conversation regarding how expensive the parts involved in modern vehicles have become. Of course, let us never forget that these components may and often do fail to work correctly all by themselves without having been damaged by something like a collision. This is the exposure for which we may have a remedy. When our guests choose to take advantage of the shelter, security, protection, and peace of mind provided by our products, the exposure to much of the expense related to keeping a modern vehicle operating properly is taken off of their plate. What else may we share? Some of our guests think they should make a claim on their automobile insurance policy related to windshield glass. Contrast this to taking advantage of a protective contract providing for OEM glass repair/replacement. A contract provided by us. A contract which assures the quality of the glass used and will never increase in cost regardless of our guests' claims frequency. Will the insurance company make that guarantee? And for the guests who want to leave to potentially readdress their opportunities later, perhaps near the end of some current protective period, there is more we may share. Business office related products are not immune to these same factors impacting automobile insurance company comprehensive and collision rates. Changes are required when loss ratios exceed 100%. Obviously, our industry's products have also recently experienced similar challenges. Challenges like those affecting the automobile insurance industry. The automobile insurance industry is raising rates and deductibles while potentially pulling back on some coverage provisions. What is and or who is next? Think about it. Good luck and good selling.